We're just days away from the SRC election here at the University of Pretoria, and the plot is thickening. We've called a couple of candidates from each of these portfolios to kind of prove their case for the very last time before you get to cast your vote on Wednesday. Good morning. I'm your host and your facilitator for this debate. My name is Tsukhofatso Makola, and welcome to the SRC election debate for the portfolio Facilities, Safety and Security, powered by MCA, Elections Management and Consulting Agency of Africa. This portfolio is responsible for encouraging a safe and secure campus environment and is involved with the maintenance and improvement of campus facilities, addressing student concerns related to safety and security. Allow me to introduce our candidates for this portfolio. On the far left, your left, we have Zintle Mabena. Next to her, we have Makhado Rampela. And next to him, we have Koketso Ntlaleng. Let's get started, but before we do so, let's lay down some ground rules just so that you're comfortable and you know how this whole process is going to go. For starters, please ensure that you're respectful at all times, as no discrimination is going to be tolerated at all. Secondly, for time restraints, please can you keep your answers as concise as possible, just to the point, just to allow for everybody to have an opportunity to answer. There will be time for us all to engage on some of the things that have been asked. For starters, I'm going to pose a question to each and every one of you, of which you'll all have an opportunity to answer, and then the fellow candidates can then rebut to some of the things that you've said or add if they have any additions at all. Seems pretty self-explanatory? You seem a bit more comfortable? Well, let's get started. I'm going to ask Zintle the first question. Zintle, South African universities, including, the University of Pretoria, have recently faced a lot of challenges that are related to student accommodation shortages and safety concerns. And these have been highlighted through various different student protests also here at the University of Pretoria. Given these ongoing issues, how do you think you will address these issues if you were elected in this portfolio to enhance student safety and security within campus residences as well as them on campus as well?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Given the ongoing student protests and challenges surrounding accommodation and safety at South African universities, including the University of Pretoria, to enhance student safety and security within campus residences amidst rising demand and off-campus accommodation challenges, a comprehensive and innovative approach is essential. This includes upgrading physical security measures through advanced access control systems like ID cards and smart locks, alongside 24/7 CCTV surveillance and improved lighting in critical areas to eliminate blind spots. A dedicated campus security team should patrol regularly and respond swiftly, supported by emergency alert systems accessible via smartphones. Technological solutions such as mobile safety apps for instant distress signals and remote video monitoring add layer of real-time protection.
I saw, Koketso nodding quite a bit to some of the things that you said. Do you have anything to add, or do you have anything to counter based off of what Zintle said?
Yeah. Talking about the technological devices that you said you'll implement to help students, which technological devices would you suggest we should add?
As I've mentioned, that we will definitely improve on the CCTV camera surveillance and ensure that more, we will work with the CID municipality to ensure that they patrol regularly to ensure the safety of students.
Makhado, I'd like you to weigh in on this story. You're from the Economic Freedom Fighters Youth Command, and this is a political party on campus that have been quite vocal in terms of their stances on student safety as well as student accommodation. If you were elected into this portfolio, how would you ensure that student politics, or rather your political party politics, have no sort of infringement or implication on your work as an officer of this portfolio?
Revolutionary greetings to the students of the University of Pretoria. My name is Makhado Rampela, a deployee from the Economic Freedom Fighters Students Command. So with my affiliation to the EFFSC, so how I will implement safety is that I will make sure that our prevention is better than cure actually. So I'll make sure that the security is improved, the lightings I will work with the municipal council, so which is the City of Tshwane Council, to make sure that the street lights are improved, the CCTV cameras are improved. Actually, the residences of campus, we have noted that some of them don't have CCTV cameras in hallways. Maybe they have them in kitchens, like communal kitchens, but in hallways they are not there. So it means anyone can just enter the room and like steal or do whatever they want, but they won't know because there are no cameras. To make it mandatory for residences to have cameras in hallways so that students can feel safe, and to make sure that lightings are improved on campus, make sure that there is security everywhere it's visible, make sure that the existing security outside of campus, which is like the CID, they are improved, because you might find out that there is a security in each and every corner, but they are far away from each other. And maybe even if someone tries to mug you, you might find out they can't see, or maybe they are not aware of that issue. So make sure that the security are improved. Some of them, they work, but they are sleeping. When you find out at night you are working, they are sleeping there on the court, so they can't see anything. A car can just come and grab a girl, grab anyone, and just do a kidnapping. So to make sure that we report those, hold those companies accountable, because those services, they are paid for by the residents of the University of Pretoria, by the residents around that field, and also the University of Pretoria, and also the other campuses that were excellent campuses. We must not leave them. The Groenhof campus, Prince campus, on this group. Make sure that those students are also safe on campus, off campus. Thank you.
Koketso, you seem to be nodding at a lot of what Makhado has said. I want you to weigh in on that, but also weigh in on the issue that he's raised in terms of holding companies and private residences also accountable for not having the relevant CCTV footage or CCTV cameras. How would you do that in this portfolio?
How would I do that in this portfolio? Before I say that, I have questions for him. Should I ask the question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. In regards to the CCTV cameras, why do you think is the reason the campus you mentioned that the CCTV cameras don't work? Why do you think is the reason for that? And also, you mentioned that the securities are always sleeping during night shift. How would you make it your business with the securities are not sleeping and they work all the time?
Oh, thank you very much. So with regard to the securities not sleeping during night shift, is to hold their management, basically to work with their management, because you have to go to those people and say, your people are not working. Please come to the ground and see what these people are doing. We shall get proof that they are not working, because we need to hold them accountable. The question, can you repeat the question about CCTV?
The CCTV camera, how would you make it, how would you make it sure that the CCTV cameras work?
Inside campus?
Yeah, and off-campus residences, you mentioned.
With regard to off-campus residences, we have to make sure that those CCTV cameras are working. How? Because when CCTV cameras are installed, maybe they install a room where they see those CCTV cameras. So you have to basically make sure that all of them, they are working, and they are working very well, and make sure that way also during load shedding, when there is backup power, those CCTV cameras work, because some people can take advantage of load shedding to make sure that they do whatever they want when those CCTV cameras, they are off.
Thank you.
And also to add on the issue of the CCTV cameras, to ensure that they work, we will definitely try by all means to ensure that on-campus and also off-campus residences are regularly inspected to ensure that they are working all the time. And also we will hold regular feedback sessions and open forums so that students can raise their issues, and also how we can also deal with that. Thank you.
I want to probe you on that, Zinhle. Given that you're saying some of these you would like to implement on, private residences that are off campus, how would you ensure that you have that jurisdiction to do so? Given that these are private residences, they're not owned by the university, how would you be able to do that?
Okay, thank you. We will definitely meet up with the management, and also we'll visit the off-campus and also on-campus residence management. We'll talk with the house parents. We do have parents that are looking after us, so we'll definitely have this type of conversation with them and ask for their permissions, and we'll definitely implement the strategy.
Just to add on that, because they are private accommodations, but I think you have to remember that these universities are accredited by the university. So you can't say maybe because they are private accommodations, they must do whatever they want. Before they are accredited, they must be inspected. We do have people in the SRC that sit in the accreditation team. We must increase the number of those people in the SRC that sit in that accreditation team to make sure that all the things that the university requires, they are complied by these private accommodations. We can't be having private accommodations just doing whatever they want because they are not university owned or controlled. So the university must make sure that those accommodations are accountable to them, even though they are private accommodations.
And Koketso, do you also agree that there's an issue in terms of accreditation from a safety perspective, and how do you think it should be addressed?
Yeah, I also best believe that there is an issue in that, because in the rest that I stay in right now, which is Fountains View, the CCTV cameras don't work. Students' cell phones and laptops are being stolen from their rooms. So it is a necessity for student safety, for CCTVs to work. And how would I go about that? As he said, to add on, we would make sure that those accommodations for students, the accreditation, the policies, they should include CCTV cameras that work 24/7. They should include securities that patrol over the residences during night times and daytimes all the time. Maybe extra securities. For example, the residence that I stay in, we have 2 securities. Maybe if we add the security numbers to 4, so that others can patrol all the campuses. Thank you.
Makaro seems to have something to add to that.
I have a question for my leader here. Assuming that you are a student leader and you are saying the residence that you are staying in doesn't, the CCTV cameras don't work. So what have you as a student leader done to address that? Because you can't say you must wait to be in office to address those issues. So what have you done to address and hold their management accountable as a student lead?
Yeah, thank you for that question. As a student leader running for this portfolio of safety, what I've done for my res for the safety, we've organized a group chat where we create awareness for students to be aware that the CCTV cameras don't work, and we've informed the management that the cameras don't work. And also what I've done is that we've tried to implement strategies to find those people who do the stealing. Thank you.
I'd like you to pass the mic over to Zinhle. You know, gender-based violence is a big issue that we have within our society, and it's even seems to be an issue that seems to be plaguing its way into, you know, the university environment as well. You know, with universities also not being immune to this issue. You know, if you were elected into this portfolio, how would you collaborate with, you know, student bodies and other, you know, management outside of the university as well to ensure that gender-based violence is an issue that's actually addressed, and that, you know, the student community isn't as affected by gender-based violence?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. If elected, I would prioritize a collaborative and multifaceted approach to tackle gender-based violence on campus, moving beyond mere awareness campaigns to establish concrete prevention and response system. Firstly, I would work closely with the university management to integrate gender-based violence into institutional policies, ensuring clear, enforceable punitive measures against perpetrators to hold them accountable swiftly and fairly. Working with student bodies, I would promote the creation of robust peer support networks and safe spaces where survivors feel empowered to report incidences without fear of stigma or retaliation.
Makaro, you seem to have something to add to that?
With regards to this question, what I will do is to work closely with the transformation office. So I will implement a zero tolerance system on the perpetrators to make sure that those perpetrators are reported and those cases are taken seriously, because there are some cases of sexual harassment that are in the transformation office but they are not solved yet, to make sure that everything that is investigated, it is done in thoroughly and on time, because you can't be dragging a case about GBV and then the victim, it can cause psychological problems to the victim also. So to make sure that we collaborate with the Brooklyn police station that is right here, to make sure that they also take those cases seriously. If we have to make sure that we escalate those cases to the provincial or the commissioners or national, we have to make sure that we do that, because just this year we had a march as the EFFSC for justice forthwith, and we handed in a memorandum in that police station. But to get the feedback on that memorandum, we had to even go there maybe multiple times just to get a feedback on that memorandum, because there are cases that are still unsolved. There is the Zanzu case that is still unsolved even today. So we make sure that the Brooklyn police station, it is working for the students that are around here, and also for the community that is around here in Atfield, and also for the other external campuses.
Koketso, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, to add to that, what he said, working with all the external and internal organizations, I would also suggest that we work with the POWA, which is People Opposing Women Abuse, which they know, and they know how to deal with GBVs and etc. And also work with the TIER Foundation, which they also have experience in dealing in such manners, in such organizations and problems such as GBV, and people, this organization would be able to help us as students on how to deal with GBV and all the students and create awareness to us as students. Yeah.
I'd like you to, oh yeah, Zinhle has something to add to that.
And also to add on that, I would advocate for the establishment of confidential reporting channels and survivor-centered care centers on campus. This will ensure that the victims of gender-based violence, they don't have fear when they have to report terrible incidents that they encountered, and also to ensure them that their business won't be known to the world, so that they will feel protected and secured.
I want us to move swiftly a little bit, looking at issues like power cuts that students are affected by, not just students who are off campus, but students who are on campus as well. We've had quite a lot of power cuts happen at the University of Pretoria most recently, and sure, load shedding is a thing of the past, but power cuts aren't, and other issues also aren't, like water issues as well. How will you, within this portfolio, ensure that, number one, students are communicated accordingly in terms of when these issues are taking place, and number two, to ensure that they aren't as affected by these issues in terms of them being able to continue with their studies?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. In this portfolio, I would definitely work with the university management to ensure that more generators are implemented and more funds are raised so that during load shedding, no students are affected. And also, we will advocate for more pre-recorded lectures so that even during load shedding, studying still continues.
Makado, do you have something to add to that?
Thank you very much. With regard to load shedding, we must improve the existing generators that are installed in the university, because they are generators. So we must make sure that the generators are installed in every campus, and they are improved to make sure that when during load shedding, the studying continues, especially in the study areas like the lecture halls, everywhere where students are found. And also with regards to the water shortages, I will collaborate with the MMC office and also the ward councillor, because they know, the ward councillor know when will the water go. Maybe if there is a pipe burst they need to fix and they're going to cut the water supply, I will make sure that we work with the MMC office to make sure that students are aware of the issue, and that they'll know that during this time and this time there is going to be a water shortage. Maybe they must prepare in time, or maybe they must get the residences must also supply backup water. They can get water tankers to make sure that there is backup water, and also there is backup electricity in those residences. And also the Wi-Fi is working during load shedding, because students rely highly on Wi-Fi to make sure that they continue their studies, to get access to ClickUp and also to other materials that they might be using to study. Yes.
I'd like to probe you further on that. Either of you can answer this question. Given the challenges that we sometimes face in terms of electricity and water, do you think that students should still be obliged to come to campus, given all of that's happening?
Thank you very much. With regard to students coming to campus, I think maybe if it's just a one-day issue and there is backup water to make sure that the water is going to be sufficient enough, but if it's going to be the whole week and there is no water, there is no electricity, and there's no backup generators, how are you expecting students to come and study? Because if there's no water around the community that they're staying, even around campus, how are they going to study? How are they going to move during their day? How are they going to come to campus to make sure that they are fine? So if maybe it's just a short-term issue, the students can still come to campus, but if it's a long-term issue that still need to be fixed, maybe we can just cut the classes short for that day, but there must be maybe recorded lectures, as she said, so that if there is recorded lectures, they can just continue online to study and to do for those, to prepare for those lectures. Thank you.
Koketso, do you have something to add?
Yeah.
Oh. I'll move to Zinhle straight afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, something to add on what they said about water being captured in the tanks, to talk about safety based on water captured in the tanks. I think those water tanks, like JoJo tanks, they should be cleaned regularly, not to keep water and wait for water shortages and use the water, because the water sometimes gets the diseases. It has diseases in it. So I would suggest that the water tanks get cleaned thoroughly and maybe every month, to make sure that student safety is implemented. Thank you.
Zinhle had something to say?
To add on what they've said, I think as much as education is our priority, it has to depend on whether a student has to come to campus when there is water cut or electricity cut. But also to avoid such instances, the university has to ensure that generators are in place. And also that Joshua tanks are filled with water all the time to ensure that no student is unable to come to campus due to such circumstances.
I want us to touch on the issue of information, and I think I'd like you to pass the mic over to Koketo. You know, we've just spoken about ensuring that students are aware of what's happening in terms of safety and aware of what's happening in terms of whether they have certain facilities like water and electricity. I want us to talk about them being aware of things that are happening around them from a safety perspective. Recently, it was public knowledge that there was a serial killer in the city of Tshwane. As a result of that, rumors then emerged that the serial killer was in Hatfield. No evidence has been provided that the serial killer was in Hatfield, but this information has circulated as it does when there's students involved. How would you ensure that students are adequately informed in terms of what exactly is happening around them, and to not worry if there could be rumors that are circulating regarding their safety, that those rumors could actually be squashed? What would you do if you were in charge of this portfolio?
If I was in charge of this portfolio, how would I make sure of that? I would first work with the other portfolios, such as marketing management, which have connections with the students, to make sure that the information circulated around students. And then I'll also make sure that we spread the information through WhatsApp groups for students to be aware. And also what we will do, we'll make sure that students of University of Pretoria, they are aware, and we will increase securities who alert students which areas that the information that are going through. As you said, the rumors were said that the serial killer is roaming around Hatfield. So we would make sure that students are aware and they have information about such things. Thank you.
Makara, you seem to have something to add?
Thank you very much. With regard to the rumors of the serial killer, I'll collaborate with the MMC office, which is to basically let students know about everything that is going on campus. So the MMC office will make sure that they send out information to students to make sure that they're aware about the issue, and also go to the police to make sure that this information is really reliable and is true, that there is a serial killer going around, because you might find the information is just false, because some people can just start rumors, but I'll make sure that anything that has to do with the safety of students is reliable, and to make sure that prevention, I like to say prevention, so make sure that students are already safe before even such a thing happens, because even if the serial killer comes and we are not aware, maybe they are going to start here around the campuses, to make sure that students are already safe before that these people can just come, so that if they can try anything, even if they are starting here and they've not done crime anywhere, they are arrested very speedily and they can't commit crime, and the students are safe around.
Seems like Zinhle has something to add to that, Zinhle?
To add on what Koketo has said, we will definitely try to work with the marketing management to ensure that students are informed of what's happening with regards to the serial killer. And secondly, we'll ensure that more security guards are deployed around Hatfield, and also both in on and off campus residents where students live, to ensure, I believe that this will deter the serial killer from trying to even come close to students. And also with regards to on campus and also off campus residences, we'll ensure that CCTV footage cameras are working all the time, because I believe this is also another way of or form of deterrence, or of deterring the serial killer from coming close to students.
Makara, did you have something to add?
Just to add on that, yes, the issue of, I want to add on this issue of CCTV cameras, to make sure that the CCTV cameras are monitored, because some residences can just install cameras and not monitor them. What is good that going to help with, because they are not going to be monitored, so they are just going to revert back if there is a crime that has been committed. And if there is a crime, maybe a student has been stabbed or something, the crime has already been committed, so we must make sure that those CCTV cameras are always monitored 24/7, to make sure that if there is something that is suspicious that is happening, it is relied to the security guards that are on the ground, that there is someone suspicious, please go and check that out right now before they do anything. Ask them why they are there, what are they doing there. I
think you've raised a lot of crucial points, each and every one of you. Koketo, do you have something to say? just to close us off?
Yeah, I have something to say. Through our conversation dialogue today, I've listened and I've heard that we spoke about physical safety mostly. We didn't talk about psychological safety. So I would like us to talk about psychological safety with the candidate.
Perhaps you can kickstart that conversation. What do you mean by psychological safety, and why is that something that should be, imperative for whoever takes up this portfolio?
Psychological safety is something that's very important to all of us, because without our safety of well-being mentally, we can't be focused or serious with academics. So psychological safety, we talk about students' well-being. Students' well-being is very important. So by saying that, how would I make sure and secure students' psychological safety? I would first implement the well-being sessions that we already have. Increase them. Maybe we have 2 well-being sessions per week to help students, to get 2 students to help them with their mental health. Thank you.
Makadra, do you have something to say or to counter what Kogetso has just said?
Thank you very much. Greetings once again. With regard to psychological well-being, I will work with the Transformation and Student Success Office to make sure that the number of the student counseling, we have a student counseling unit in the university. The number of counselors, they must be increased, because the number of ratio beyond one counselor to students, the whole students in the university is, it's not enough. So they must increase the counselors to make sure that the university hire more counselors. And also in private accommodation, there must be at least, in a private accommodation residence, there must be at least 2 counselors. It must be compulsory when they get accreditation that they must have counselors, whether it's student counselors or really trained counselors, to make sure that they talk to students, make sure that they have workshops with students. If the students have problems about mental health, they can go there to talk to those counselors, even on campus, to improve their office space, because I can see that their office space is very small, so they must get more office space to make sure that they have more offices for students to come, and also students have reliable access. The students must be aware that they are there, because some students, maybe they don't know that there are counselors on campus.
Now, do you think that this is a relevant conversation to be having at all? Psychological safety, is this something that's within this portfolio?
Definitely, I think this is an important conversation to have, because as much as education is important, and as much as we all have a right to be here and be studying, we as students, we can't shy away from the reality that a lot of us, or a lot of students, face academic exclusion. And not only because they want to, but some are affected emotionally. Some students are going through a lot. So I definitely that this is an important conversation to definitely have. And also addressing the psychological well-being, as much as it's quite important, this can be achieved by establishing peer support networks, resident safety committee, and providing accessible mental health resources, including on-site counselors and wellness workshops. So definitely, in closing, I believe that this is a very important conversation to have.
Kogetso, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I have a question for both my candidates. As he mentioned the very crucial point that students should get access to counseling. So my question to them is, how would you make it about that students get counseling? Because there's a problem with students accessing the counseling. So how would you make it about that student, that's easy for them to get the counseling?
Thank you very much. To make sure that students get the counseling, like I said, some students aren't aware that there are counselors on campus. To make sure that those counselors, the counseling unit is visible on campus, and they also have activations maybe to make sure that students also use their social media platform, also use our social media platforms to make sure that students know, and also via ClickUp to make sure that where you can get these counselors. If you have to go to this office, which is next to this place, you can get the counselors. And also students must not have the stigma of saying, I don't want to go to a counselor, I will deal with my problems alone. They must go and talk to someone to make sure that they are fine, and also because academics can be overwhelming sometimes, so they can talk to a counselor if they need to, so that they can.
Briefly, I just want to, before we close off, I want to ask Zintle the question about, facilities. The allocation of facilities, and how it's kind of misproportionate. A lot of students have complained that some faculties receive more facilities than others, some students receive more facilities than others. How's that a bridge that you aim to, or a gap that you aim to bridge as head of this portfolio?
Okay, thank you. If elected, I will ensure that all the faculties are prioritized. I will ensure that they all get adequate and equal treatment. And we will, as I've mentioned earlier on, that we will definitely try to have regular feedback sessions so that every student can raise what they are, what the challenges they are facing, and we will try to definitely come up with a solution to that.
Makado, do you have something to add?
With regard to the facilities, I will improve the facilities in all campuses to make sure that students have access to all the facilities, because maybe students, they might find that here in that field there's only one library that goes to open for 24 hours, to make sure that all the study areas are open for 20, even the computer labs, they must open for 24 hours to make sure, or extend their hours to make sure that students have access to them. So all faculties must be prioritized so that students have access to those facilities. Study areas, whether it's books or what, they must be prioritized, all of them. There must not be a special faculty or anything. They must all be prioritized because they belong to the university.
Okay, so do you have anything to add as we close off?
Okay, what I would add about what they said, to improve the facilities for students, we would also host regular walkthroughs through all the campuses to make sure what the campuses are short of the facilities, and work with the Department of Finance to know the budget of how to improve the facilities for students in all campuses. Thank you.
And just closing off, I'm going to give each of you an opportunity of about a minute or less, preferably, to just give your parting shot. You know, you've all listed a couple of concerns that you have in terms of, you know, student safety and security and how you aim to address them. But, you know, Wednesday's the SRC elections. Students are going to have the opportunity to vote for one of you within this portfolio. Why should students specifically choose you? I'm going to start with you, Kogetso, and then we're going to go around.
Okay, why should students choose me? Students should choose me because I'm a dedicated leader and someone who works with people. I will make sure that I work with the students on a daily basis. I will make sure that I listen to all the students' concerns, and I'll make sure that you students are heard and your opinions are valued. Thank you.
Makado, why should students vote for you on Wednesday?
Thank you very much. Students should vote for me because I am a student leader that's been there on the ground. I have faced the challenges that they have faced. I have lived in where I live where they live. So to make sure that they vote for me, I will advocate for them, advocate for any query they have, any concerns they have, to make sure that the facilities, safety and security of them is improved around campus, or the libraries must be improved, the clinic booking system must stop, to make sure that students have access to healthcare, all the facilities, the buses must move on the regular timetables that prefer students, to make sure that they all have access to all the facilities, whether it's buses, study areas, healthcare, anything that has to do with their safety, security and facilities.
And lastly, Zinhle, why should students choose you to be, you know, in charge of this portfolio on Wednesday?
Thank you so much. Students should vote for me to be part of this portfolio because I believe that as students, we all deserve a campus that is safe, that is reliable, and most importantly, that is welcoming. They have to work with me to ensure that our facilities work for us and that most importantly, our safety are prioritized. And also, as a dedicated student leader and a law graduate, I am committed to fostering a safer, more supportive, and resilient university environment for all the students. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all three of you. And these are the candidates for the portfolio of facilities, safety and security. Remember, you have your opportunity to vote for either of them on Wednesday, where you are able to cast your vote for this SRC election here at the University of Pretoria.